Viewer discretion is advised. My grandfather was an avid storyteller. I was always excited when he came to visit. His most popular stories with us grandkids were about his glory days during the war. Now, he didn't see much action during his service. But there's one incident that made him question everything he thought he knew about humanity. The story went like this. When he was in France during the First World War, he and his men were pinned down by advancing German forces. Things were not looking too good. His allies and friends were getting killed one by one as the seconds passed. That is, until the U.S. 2nd Infantry Division rolled in. They were monsters. My grandfather said he watched in a daze as these men tore through the woods, killing soldiers left and right with such force and speed. Bullets may hurt them, but it sure took a heck of a lot of firepower to put down just one of them. What's more, while human, they were covered in hair, or was it fur, akin to a werewolf with the wild attitude to boot. Pretty soon, the battle ended as quickly as it started, with the 2nd Infantry Division standing proudly over their slain enemies. One of them extended a hand to my grandfather and helped pull him to his feet. When asked why they looked the way they did, the man only shrugged and told him that some things are best left unanswered. "Come, more to slaughter," he said, while walking away from my stunned grandfather with a crazed look in his eyes. Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you SCP Foundation KETER Class Object SCP-5181. SCP-5181, also known as Teufelshunde, refers to a group of thaumaturgically and biologically enhanced humans. They were discovered in France by the Foundation during World War I, where only 3 members of the original group survived. These 3 members of 5181 have not shown any signs of aging nor mental degradation at all. Researchers have also discovered that these individuals, by some unknown biological mechanism, are virtually immortal. After a litany of physical tests, members of 5181 have demonstrated remarkable speed, strength, dexterity, and durability that far exceed normal humans. Several researchers have suggested pitting them against Tau-5 to see how well they would fare. These researchers were criticized for suggesting such a thing. Each member of 5181 has hair that covers their entire body, as well as muscular and skeletal deformities that are strictly hidden under their skin, though their skulls and facial features are more hardened in terms of appearance. The soldiers of 5181 were created in a joint effort between the Foundation and the U.S. military in 1914 for World War I. However, after only a single year of deployment, the soldiers were deactivated due to rising tensions with the U.S. government. The SCP Foundation had no intention to weaponize the anomalies under their control, and refused to let the US, or any government for that matter, to use them for mundane purposes. Having said that, 5181 soldiers were reactivated 2 years later to combat advancing German soldiers in France. They were ultimately successful in this endeavor, but very quickly began attacking anyone indiscriminately, friend and foe alike. The following are journal entries recorded by Lieutenant Richards, one of the members of Cheyenne Company. These entries clearly illustrated the state of mind of the 5181 soldiers. We marched through the night and managed to get here just in time. The French ran away, but Doc said that we were right where we should be. The captain asked him if we were going to finish taking the injections, but Doc said to wait, because once we did, there'd be no turning back. So, we waited, along with the rest of the company. We kicked the hell out of them German bastards. We had just enough time to dig little half graves in the dirt before they started pouring over the hill and into our enfilade. We waited, then we killed. The sound of all those guns going off still rings in my ears, almost enough to drown out the screaming. It's quiet now, but it's not gonna last, the captain says. This morning, we assaulted 142. And finally took it, but a lot of good men won't be going home. The captain and Doc got into it, and Doc finally agreed to let us finish. We're being shifted to help take another territory, and the captain said that now is the time. Doc gave us all syringes filled with blood and told us to inject ourselves after we move in with the other team. The others didn't quite know what to make of it, but we're war dogs. Whatever comes, we got this. My whole body feels like it's on fire. The pain is spiking through everything, but I ain't ever felt so alive. I can hear everything. I can taste the sweat and rust from the Germans on the breeze blowing through below. I can feel the beating hearts of my brothers and the hair on my arms. I feel strong, stronger than I've ever been. The weariness of sleep is gone, but the hunger remains. I can taste it in my mouth, and I can see it running in their veins. I must. We've killed and killed and killed, but the hunger still drives me. War dogs? No, we're not war dogs anymore. The Germans are calling us Teufelshunde now. Devil dogs. The pride in that is almost enough for me to forget the hunger. Almost enough for me to forget the fear in the eyes of the other Marines. Almost. They're not afraid. They're jealous. Jealous of what we've become. Jealous of what we can do. We've taken the woods. They belong to us now. And no one's gonna take them from us. No one is gonna take anything from us ever again. They were subdued by embedded Foundation agents within the US military in the area, and were once again deactivated. While 5181 soldiers were under the direct command of Captain Fitzgerald, 5181, or rather the Cheyenne Company as they were known under him, were actually the brainchildren of Dr. Kovalenko. Dr. Kovalenko was a parasciences scientist and was known for being involved with numerous occult activities and paranormal endeavors. He said that his creations were made to help fight the German Imperial Army, but that was just a cover story for his true intentions. Dr. Kovalenko actually belonged to the Neo-Sarkic cult, Hunter's Black Lodge, and wanted nothing more than to achieve Sarkic apotheosis through 5181, among other experiments. These experiments would then undergo Sarkic rituals so that he could learn how to achieve apotheosis for himself as well. None of this came to pass, thankfully. The Foundation, in conjunction with the United States Marine Corps, USMC, purged all the records they could find related to 5181 and Dr. Kovalenko's research. After all, the last thing the Foundation needs are immortal Sarkics running around. What follows is a severe reprimand from the Foundation Ethics Committee to Site Director of Site 12 for his reactivation of 5181 during World War II. "You ignorant fool! You are under strict orders to not activate SCP-5181. You have clearly abused your power and privilege as a site director. But it was for the greater good, you must understand. But due to your careless actions, numerous civilians were brutalized, maimed, and killed. Not only were civilians slain, but our own security personnel were also slaughtered because of your impudent self-righteousness. But compared to the Germans, these soldiers are out of control. Only 3 members of 5181 are left alive now. Thousands dead, and several countries are poking around, wondering how the hell that happened. So thanks for causing suspicion, Site Director. God, you have allowed your biases to greatly damage not only your own reputation, but the reputation of the Foundation as well. So this is what it's all about? Our reputation? Have you forgotten what or who we are? We are the Foundation. We don't get involved in wars or politics unless humanity itself is at risk, or to prevent the veil from breaking. Don't misunderstand. I am all for the preservation of lives and to prevent chaos in this world. But the route you took was idiotic at best. Do not, for 1 second, think that I am unaware of why you reactivated 5181. Yes, I'm well aware of your extreme nationalism for your beloved France. Be honest, the only lives you cared about were those of your fellow Frenchmen. Love of life is great. Selectively loving life is another matter entirely. Director, you are hereby relieved of your duties and summarily no longer a part of the SCP Foundation. I expect a formal letter from you saying you agree to this. You have 24 hours. I don't think so. I stand by my decision and will use them as I see fit, he said and stormed out of the room. Oh, I think you'll regret that. The site director was then wiped from all records, amnestized, and dropped off at a mental asylum for his actions. To this day, no further incidents have occurred with the final 3 members of 5181. All researchers and staff are under strict orders to never reactivate 5181 again under penalty of death. However, should a threat ever meet a sufficient threshold near Site 12, the 3 members of SCP-5181 are to be reactivated. They will then be outfitted with the Foundation's best weapons and armor to combat the threat. This plan can only be enacted with the approval of the Ethics Committee after 3 conditions have been met. First, civilian casualties are expected and must be kept minimal. Second, members of SCP-5181 are to work with and to be watched by 2 mobile task forces. And finally, should SCP-5181 members exhibit traitorous tendencies such as killing their allies and civilians, they are to be terminated on sight.
Before we end this video, we are proud to present these incredibly sweet pieces of fan art. A big thank you to all of you. You can now send us your fan art, and we will be more than happy to show off your best art piece in our next video. Check out our description below on how to submit. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Which SCP do you want to see in the next video and why it is interesting? Let us know in the comment below. We will draw your story and share it with the world. Don't forget to click like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. Please share it to your friends if you like this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.